Corporate Affairs Commission says that by January the 1st of that's Corporate Affairs Commission in Nigeria. January the 1st, all point of sale users have to make sure that they are registered by this date. If not, they're going to be in violation of the CAMA and also the central bank's agent banking guidelines. So that, of course, some are asking for more time. Some are questioning why they should be registered. There's a whole conversation around that. That's here, of course, in Nigeria. Still in Nigeria, the central bank has reconstituted the board of the ACGSF, which is the Agric Credit Guarantee Scheme. It's a board reconstitution. Dr. Olusegun Oshin is the chair, and this, of course, is an effort to get more credit out to the agricultural sector, which, of course, in the third quarter grew by 3.79% year on year. Let's have a conversation with Arise Business Analyst Chika Mbonu, who, of course, is joining us from our Abuja studios. Chika, we've switched again. We've switched positions now. I'm now back in Lagos, and now you are in Abuja. Good morning to you. Chika, what's your take on this P.O.S. registration deadline and all the talk around it? What's your thoughts?
To enable me answer your question properly, I have to put some things in perspective. The Nigerian banking industry has gone through massive transformations in the last 10 years plus. Rotus, you may be too young to know that there was a time that in this Nigerian economy that if you don't get into the bank by 4 p.m., you are roasted for that day. And if it's a Friday, that means you can't access any money till Monday. But the Central Bank of Nigeria came in with several programs to expand financial inclusion and make banking available to so many underserved places. One of the major key initiatives was the P.O.S, point of sale terminal framework initiative. So it has become a major element, a major backbone for the financial inclusion program of the Central Bank of Nigeria, such that by the end of, I think, 2024, there were about 1.9 million POS machines all over Nigeria, covering so many areas. So because of that initiative, you will find that so many underbanked areas or unbanked areas hitherto now have banking services through the POS framework. But despite the advantages that have come with the initiative of point of sale terminal initiatives, what has happened is that some good things come with bad things. They have come with so much elements of fraud, irregularities, and so much hurt to the financial system, such that in 2023, NIB, Nigerian Interbank Settlement System PLC, has attributed a substantial share of the fraud in the banking system to POS and web channels. So you see the perspective that this came good, but it came with so many things. So it became necessary, therefore, for the system, the framework to be regulated and formalized. But you see, the other aspect of it is that, based on the CAMA, which you made reference to, 2020 Act, it becomes illegal that you don't run businesses without registration. So now what's happened now is that the Corporate Affairs Commissioner said that all businesses must be registered to operate in Nigeria, and that's why that deadline has come into play. But the problem is this, Rotus. The problem is this, that as you know, it's more difficult to renovate a house that people are living inside already. It's very difficult. Just like Nigeria, after pushing out almost 100 million SIM cards, that's when we thought about registering SIM cards, and we know what came out of it. Now, 1.92 million POS out there now, we need to regularize them and formalize them. And that's very important, because other geographies that we reviewed nobody operates this kind of business without any formal registration, either by the central bank or the Corporate Affairs Commission in those geographies. So this is very important for our system. But the issue, therefore, is how do you balance it? How do you balance it in such a way that people are, this is how operating in so many rural areas without the P.O.S. system, there'll be no banking. So if you push this aggressively, and force people into the deadline, what will happen is that a lot of people, areas that now have financially included, will have those services. But is that enough to say this will not be done? Of course, this is not enough. This has to be done. Remember also that the issue of protecting the financial system has led Central Bank in October 2025 to come up with additional policies for the monitoring the P.O.S. framework. Remember the geotagging, the geofencing framework, because we know, Rotus, that so many stories have come out from our citizens on how they have been oppressed using P.O.S. machines. Legal and illegal people have used POS machines to extort from Nigerian citizens. And also, if you geofence and geotag a POS, it means that major issue, which is traceability, in the sense that if a fraud is committed with a POS, you can actually trace where the POS came from. And a POS machine cannot operate more than 10 meters outside where the area which is registered. So summary of what I'm trying to tell you is this, that we can't operate in a lawless society. The the Corporate Affairs Commission has said that this has to be registered, but the deadline of January 1, 2026 is a bit close. Let me share with you a little more what some other geographies have done. They have, graded or classified the users into different levels, giving them more elongated deadlines to formalize their businesses. And then for some other people also, that in completing your business with a Corporate Affairs Commission is going to be expensive. So some people in the rural areas have been given waivers of the cost or reduced costs to enable them register. In that way, the gains, the pluses that have come from financially including a lot of our citizens through POS scheme will not lose it. But at the same time, will gain the formalization of the POS scheme and reduce the fraud and extortions and the irregularities that have arisen from that noble scheme.
Chika, this is why we have you on the show. Thank you so much for the breakdown. You even preempted my next question as to whether the deadline was a little close. We've got a couple minutes. I want to quickly get your thoughts, Chika, on the reconstitution of the agricultural credit scheme, the board, the reconstitution of the board by the Central Bank of Nigeria, and trying to get more credit out to players in the agricultural sector, particularly farmers.
Yeah, Rotis, thank you for that question. The Agricultural Credit Guarantee Scheme Fund, is timely. Remember, this fund has actually been set up since 1977. But look at it, Rotis. Agriculture contributes about 1/5 of our Nigerian GDP, employs so many citizens there. But listen, the bad news, the low news, the sad news is that less than 5% of the gross lending loans in the banking system goes to agriculture. Now, so this agricultural credit guarantee scheme was set up to de-risk the banks, encourage them to go and lend to that sector, and cover their risks up to 75%. That's the thing. So if you give 100 naira loan to a farmer, and the scheme covers you up to 75 naira in case you have any losses, still, that incentive has not been enough for a lot of banks, financial institutions, to foray into that agriculture because of, the problems there. Even currently, agriculture in Nigeria is mostly subsistence. Look at the issue now. You can have your farm now, and the next thing, herders and so many other people will go there and attack the farmers, and then there are climate issues and so on and so forth. So it's important, therefore, but we realize the importance of agriculture in Nigeria, and agriculture has to thrive with funding, and that's why Central Bank has relaunched this scheme, hoping that this time around the banks will support it. But Central Bank has said this time around a lot of things have changed in the agricultural framework or value chain. Let's incorporate the microfinance banks, the fintechs, group lending, cooperatives, and others smallholders, so that women, school youths, smallholder farmers can gain from this scheme. And once they have more money, maybe the production in the system will increase, and agriculture will continue to produce the food that we can eat in our country.
Arise Business Analyst Chika Mbonu joining us live from our Abuja studios. Chika, as always, thank you so much for your insights. Really appreciate you joining us this morning.